The power shift has happened, and the power shift is going to continue to happen at a very high level. And my prediction is you'll see it really take a turn in the fall and as we get close to November and December. It is John Cheplack coming to you, and let me tell you what I mean by the power shift. And this comes from two perspectives. This comes from 34 years in the real estate business. This comes from, mind you, again, there's a lot of talking heads out in the real estate industry that have never done this at a high level consistently as an operator. And I've done it. And I've been through the multiple markets as an agent, as a leader. And I know how these power shifts happen. And I'm going to tell you what the power shift is. The power shift that can go back and forth subtly and very loudly, and that is the shift of the power to leadership. And I'm not saying that leadership is powerless or has been powerless, but stay with me. I'll take you back in history when in the recruiting space, and I have great pride in my capabilities as a recruiter. Over the years, I would say that, quite frankly, it's the reason that I get to do what I do today, because I had no idea how to operate, but people were willing to coach, train, and lead me around how to become an operator because I had that skill set down. And let me tell you something, when things were really, really, really good, it was tough to move an agent, experienced agent, okay? I would still get agents because here's how it goes. It's just kind of like any market, the recruiting game and growing a team or growing a brokerage is the same as growing a real estate sales business. When the market tightens up, there's not as many transactions, you just got to increase your activities. I mean, it's really simple math, okay? And so what I would do is I would see when things are really, really good, my activities, the intensity within which I had to recruit to get the result that I wanted, because I'm not going to be, and you're not going to be, a product of the market. I create my own market based on my activities and based on my commitment. I want you to really think about that. And if you're a leader that's watching this, you need to go back and tell your agents that, but you need to believe that too. And so, but what was interesting, what I watched happen, and I'm watching it happen right now, because as you probably know already this morning, I've had 10 one-on-one coaching calls with, 6, 7 of them are $500 million producing teams and above. And here's what's happening. The power shift has begun. And the power shift is people moving to those that know how to market at a high level, know the tech stacks, know the lead generation, the true lead follow-up, all of the skills, the basic skills. I'm talking about the best of the best. Agents are flocking to, agents are magnetized to the great leaders. And I use this as a shot across the bow, if you will, to those of you that, you ran an organization, whether a brokerage or it was a team. Let me tell you something. You weren't measured over the last 3 years. Nothing is measured when things are really, really good. You get measured when things change and when they're challenging. And see, here's the great measurement I give to you right now. How are you doing against the market today? Most markets have a downward trajectory right now. Not all, most. How are you doing? If you're moving down in the same percentages of the market, tells me and you what kind of leader you are. And this doesn't make you good or bad. It makes you recognize there's work that you need to do. But here's what I'm going to tell you right now is you better be the most competent leader in the marketplace if you want to win. And I'm talking about from a retention standpoint too, right? Because there's retention issues. You think an agent's going to sit around and, well, I'm going to stick this out with you because, I know things aren't good and you're not taking the action steps and I understand why. And we'll just go, we'll go down with the ship together. No, you know what they're doing? They're looking for a leader that is progressive, that is committed, that is competent, that believes they can grow during these times. And believe me, they're looking, because I'm going to tell you something. I see the results of the experienced agents that are joining the teams that I have coached for years. I'm hearing about the conversations that my top teams and brokerages that are true leaders. See, you got these other brokerages that think, well, we've got a sign brand name and, why don't you go out and do work and put a sign in the yard and do the branding for me? But we got this brand. That ain't enough, man. And you're going to get found out. Now, if you've got a big brand, a great brand, which is critical, you better have some substance behind that. And most people don't have that substance, right? They don't. And agents are flocking to leaders, not for leads, because a lot of times too, it's maybe the lead flow isn't the same as it was. You're finding right now, and I get to coach loan officers that do just a little bit of business. I'll leave it at that. A fuck ton of business. And what they're finding is that buyers are moving slower. Buyers are shopping rates more. Buyers are pulling back more, right? And so you better be that leader right now, because the opportunity, if you think the last 3 years were an opportune time, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you show up the way that you need to show up in this marketplace, to continue to market when everyone pulls back, to take your activities and double, triple, quadruple down when others pull back. It's just a season. All you got to do is get through the season of a transition of a market till it somewhat lands, because what's going to happen is people are going to fall out. They're going to fall out, right? I hear all the stories of, well, I'm just going to kind of coast through. Don't hear from my clients. I'm going to coast through. I had a really great year, made a bunch of money. Fine, coast through. And guess what? You wait for the market to change. And guess what you're going to be? You're going to be the waiter at the restaurant I'm at, because you're not in the real estate business anymore. So in its simplest of terms, the power shift is happening. Agents that did some good numbers, we're talking 10, 15, $20 million in production last year, that are struggling a little bit. You know what they're doing? They're moving to the great leaders. That means they're moving away from the average leaders. And that's what I want to challenge you with today. Are you a great leader or are you an average leader? Because average made you look great the last 3 years. Let me say it again. Average made you look great the last 3 years. The tide's going out. And we get to find out who wasn't wearing pants. And the power shift is on. The power shift is on. And it's moved to leadership has the power. Agents have the power when the market's great, because, I can, catch raindrops in a freaking thunderstorm. Like that's how easy it was to sell freaking real estate. A little bit of an exaggeration. I know people worked hard, but you get the point, okay? There's a power shift, and the great leaders, watch them. Watch them. They're going to take massive market share. You're going to see a lot of experienced agents moving to those leaders, okay, that bring value and differentiation, not what the past got you, let you get away with being price and a commodity. Price and commodity, that will not endure. Be a great leader. The power is in your hands to grow like you've never seen before. And great leaders know this.